Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. I want to share with you a thought on Parshas Yisro, which I believe is something very, very important. The Parsha begins with Yisro coming to be a member of Klal Yisrael. Vayishma Yisro. And Chazal, the Gemara, wants to understand what motivated Yisro to want to become a member of Klal Yisrael. And the Gemara brings three different opinions. The first, I believe, are easily understandable. Number one is the opinion of Rabbi Leiter who says it was Matan Torah. The Yisro actually came after the giving of the Torah, and he was impressed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu choosing Am Yisrael and then giving them his Torah. So Yisro, father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu, he wanted to be part of it. Then there's the opinion of Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov, who says, no, it was a different time. It was before the giving of the Torah. And what was he responding to? Why did he want to become a member of Klal Yisrael? It's because he heard, Vayishma Yisro, he heard about the splitting of the sea, Kriyas Yamsuf. And he was awed by that moment. What God brought about for our people, the climax of the Exodus. And therefore, he rushed to become part of our people. Those two opinions are easily understandable. But there's a third opinion in the Gemara, and that opinion is the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua, who says, look at the placement in the Torah. The coming of Yisro, the conversion of Yisro, follows directly after the war with Amalek. And therefore, he says, it was the war against Amalek that brought him to be a member of the Jewish people. What was so important about the war with Amalek? The war with Amalek was fought by natural means. Okay, Moshe Rabbeinu raised his hands, and that's when they were victorious. He lowered his hands, and that's where they weakened. But essentially, it was a war which was won by natural means. Miraculous, of course, but it was God's hand within nature. Why is it that Rabbi Yehoshua says it's the war with Amalek? I think we can answer this question by answering another question. Why does Rabbi Yehoshua say the war against Amalek? Why doesn't he say the victory over Amalek? He was impressed by the victory over Amalek. It seems what the Gemara is saying was, or is, that it's not the victory. It's not the miracle within nature. It's the fact that there was a war. He was impressed by the fact that there was a war. Why is that so important? Our people came out of Mitzrayim. We were to be the representatives of God. We were going to reflect the goodness of God in the world. We became God's ambassadors. Shamu amim yirgozun chil ochaz yoshvei peloshes. The entire world was awed by this new people and their proximity to God. There was one people that couldn't stand it. There was one people that was so bothered by the fact that the Jews had come out of Mitzrayim and had pledged to be godly and to bear witness for God. This people, Amalek, they couldn't deal with that. They had to attack it. They had to fight it. Amalek is evil. And evil and good cannot live together. That's why Rabbi Yehoshua says that what motivated Yisro to become part of the Jewish people is the war with Amalek, not the victory against Amalek. You see, it's very possible that Rabbi Yehoshua felt that Yisro could take a look at the revelation at Sinai and say, oh, impressive. God's giving his law to the Jewish people. I could stay right here and be a good Gentile. I could be a good goy, and I can go to Olam Haba. I don't need to become part of the Jewish people. Rabbi Yehoshua feels that Yisro could witness the splitting of the sea with all the miracles and with all the goodness. And yet, he could stay on the sidelines. He could cheer on the Jewish people from the sidelines. He can just love their relationship with God, fulfill the 7 Noahide commandments, and go to the world to come, but he could stay on the sidelines. Says Rabbi Yehoshua, there was one thing that motivated Yisro. When he saw that in this world, there's a great battle. It's the battle of good against evil. And you and I, our people, are the bridgehead. We are the ambassadors of good. We bring light into the world. From Zion will come God's teaching. And therefore Yisro said, I can't stay on the sidelines. I got to be part of it. And Yisro came to the Jewish people, and he became a major part of the Jewish people. And that's why a portion of the Torah was named after him. A portion of the Torah was added of the laws that he suggested and that God agreed to. Within Parshas Yisro, you have a whole section, which is Yisro's Torah. He became part of the people. He became part of the goodness. He became part of the battle. Major lesson from Rabbi Yehoshua's opinion as to why Yisro came, and that is he realized that Am Yisrael leads the battle for the goodness of God in this world. Thanks for listening. Have a great Shabbos.